Okay, so here we go. Continuing on. So I was in the middle of making a banana product, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say it's a new product. The difference here is that in this, instead of giving it no parameters. Now, again, if what had happened here, if I actually compiled and ran this, I should have debugged it actually, because otherwise it'll compile and run. And I'm making objects, but I'm not doing anything with those objects. So it shouldn't display or do anything. And so it says it's done. And that's fine. But I'll go ahead and if I debug it, it'll actually pause right here wherever I put this breakpoint, and that's so I can see what actually the variables are. So if I look, what's happening here is I'm saying I made an object called grapes, an object called banana, and the grapes had the name of the widget, the price 10, the on sale is false. But if we look at the banana as well, it has the same because I use the same constructor. So what happens is it sort of goes and it says, oh, there's no parameter, so I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to set name to widget, price to 10, on sale to false. I can do other things in here, right? I could have if statements that do different things. I can make loops. I can do all that stuff. But for the most part, at the very least, I need to sort of initialize our values to something, our instance variables to things. That's sort of the key there, or like what's necessary for this part anyway. Okay, so if I go back to this, and instead of saying hey, product banana equals new product, I can actually say, you know what, I'm going to call it banana because it wants a string, comma. I'll make this over for a second. Then it wants a string, comma, price. So we'll say $2.99, and then we'll say true, that bananas are on sale. Okay, so if I compile this, and I'll do it in the debugger as well, so it'll compile and run in the debugger, you'll see the objects that are being made over here. And so the objects, the names are the same. We have a grapes, which is a type product. We have an instance called banana of product. But the difference is, look, in this case, it was widget 10 false over down here, but now it's banana 2.99 true. So in other words, it knew which constructor to run. It only sort of used one constructor and called one constructor, but the one that it did is the one that matched. Okay, so hopefully we see that that's what's happening. We're making these objects, and again, now that these objects are here, right, now that I sort of have them as variables, I can access the name, the price, and the sale, the on sale, and other things about them. Now, I didn't make anything yet, so let's actually go back to the product and finish that, and then I think it'll hopefully be more clear. I don't know how long this is going to take to explain, but that's okay. It does say that the last constructor that we need is going to be one that only accepts two parameters here, two arguments. So we'll say public still has to have this, and so we're gonna differentiate it from that second one that I made with 3 parameters by only having 2. So we still are going to accept its name using n, its price using p, except that's it. Now I still need to put a value in. Wait, so the first part is going to be basically the same. Whatever they put in as their string parameter, I'll set that to name. Whatever they put in as the double parameter, I'll set it to price. But I still need to do something with on sale. I still need to initialize on sale to something, and so it says by default to set on sale to yes, so it will just say true, right? So I still need to assign the name using the parameter, and I still need to use the price using the parameter, but even though I didn't use it, I can still do other things, right? I can still set the on sale to true. So now I have all three constructors, okay? All 3 constructors. After our constructors, we'll typically make our accessor methods and our modifier methods, which are your gets and your sets. In this case, they only tell us to do specific ones. Normally, you would just have, if I had 3 instance variables here, I would have a getter and a setter for both, an accessor and modifier. Those are the same thing for both. In other words, one for sort of returning the value of it, so getting me the value that's stored in here already, and then the other one to change the value that's in there. But in this case, again, we're going to just do the specifics that it asks for. So it says we need a get name method. So that is going to be a pretty typical one. A get name method is going to return the value, or sort of when I run this, it'll go and sort of get the value that's stored under name and then return it. So it is a return method. So it's still going to be a public method. It's a public method that's going to return the name. And so what we do is the next thing that we need to do in our method header is we need to put the type that we're returning, in this case string. And then we want to put the name, and it's going to be get name. So it's going to be basically get and then the name of the variable, which in this case is the word name. So get name. I don't need any parameters because all I'm doing is sort of getting it, and I am returning it. If you ever have, oops, I'm returning the name. So what it'll do is it'll come here. It'll know that it needs to return a string, and it'll say get name. It'll return name. It'll say where's name. Okay, it's one of these instance variables that can be used throughout the entire instance here. It's going to return that to whoever is using this method sort of on the other class there. Okay, so that's a return method. Whenever a return method will have the keyword return in it, but it'll be in the actual in between your braces. It'll have this variable right here, whatever it returns. It doesn't have to be variable necessarily, but whatever it returns has to match up with the type that is sort of identified in there. And again, just to check, we can throw a compile there and just make sure that it compiles, and it does. And so we need a get price as well. So it's going to be pretty similar, right? The only difference is that the price is a double, so I'm not returning a string, I'm returning a double. I'm getting the price, still no parameters because it's just returning. So what is it returning? It is returning the price. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward accessors. We do need to get on sale. Now it says set on sale first, but I'm going to do all the gets first just to get them out of the way. So we know it's the public Boolean. It's going to return a true or false value. And so we have get on sale. And so all we're doing is going to return the Boolean value, either true or false, that is stored in sale. So I'm going to say, you know what, we're going to return the on whatever is saved on the on sale. Okay. Now, so that, and again, just to show you how that works, again, I'll compile that. So you always need to compile it before I need to use it in the other class. So I'm going to jump over here once it's done compiling, and it is. And so now I actually have I'll just make a third product just to show you that it works. I don't like that was singular. All right, so I modified it, but that's cool. So I'll say, Apple. And apples will be, I don't know, $10.99 and false. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to use a third constructor just so I have it. So I'm not going to put anything in there. Okay. So it will actually set the on sale to yes, because that's what it'll use, this third constructor that I made, and that's okay. All right. So again, if we wanted to show you that I did make 3 objects, and I can make 100 objects. I can make 100 objects all with the default constructor. I can make 100 objects all with the 3 parameter constructor. I can make 100 objects all with just this one, or any combination thereof. But if you see, we have grape. It has this again. If you notice, they're all products. They're all sort of type product, using the product class. So that's the blueprint, and they all have the same attributes, right? They all have the same instance variables of name, price, on sale, name, price, on sale, name, price, on sale. They all have that same stuff. The difference is the values that are stored in there are different. Right, banana, apple, $10.99, true, false. Okay, so they're all different. Okay, they're all different. I'll go ahead and end it there. And so we can sort of test our get methods. Now, if I just say, get, what was it? Get name. Okay, well, that's how we run a method with the empty parameters and everything. The problem with that is it doesn't know what name for what product you're going to try to access. So we'd say, oh, it's actually a product. But if we tried product.getName, well, we can't do that because there's a bunch of different, there's not just one. This isn't a static method. A static method is one that you can use. A static object method is one that you can use the name and it'll return it. But in this case, we have specific objects. So this is an object method. So we have to tell which object we want to use that. Now, if you notice, all of these objects that we made, all 3 objects that we made from the product class have the same get name method, right? So it doesn't matter which one I'm using. If I use grape.getName, right? Now, this will actually, I think, compile. I think it will anyway. Now, the problem is that, it's actually, we can run it too if you want. Yeah, it compiles, and let's run it. And it won't do anything, right? It won't actually do anything because grape.getName gets the name, returns a value here, but I'm not doing anything with that string that is that value. So I need to actually, to display it to the screen, I would need to sort of show, and of course, need to access that, put there and there. So I needed to sort of show it like this, and you can sort of see that I'm going to have to jump to the next part, but stay tuned. But you can see that, again, it should output it here. There it is.